Welcome back. It's time for business, and I'm joined by Matthew Warren. Hello again, Matthew. Now, we're starting off here in France, where unemployment is now at a 14-year high.
Yes, that's right. Number of people out of work up again. In October, Claire, that's the 18th month running that's happened. 45,000 extra people out of work in mainland France, and that means over 3.1 million people looking for work. And not such good news ahead. The Labour Ministry says that the numbers are going to get worse before they get better. Remember, François Hollande, the president, said that he plans to get those numbers down by the end of next year.
The figures are pretty alarming. How do they compare, though, to other European countries?
Well, it's good to take a look because although they're bad in the European context, they're pretty average. In fact, we can see here that the unemployment rates range quite considerably. Up in Greece and Spain, 1 in 4 out of work. But if you look at the averages of the EU and the Eurozone, France is right there in the middle. But interestingly, down at the bottom of that table there, Austria. Now, their unemployment rate is 4.5%. That's the lowest unemployment rate in the EU. So what is the secret of Austria's success at keeping high numbers of people in work?
The company is 120 years old, but the product is state-of-the-art. Capsch, still a family business, is the world's leading manufacturer of electronic car tags for toll road systems. It made 11 million of them last year. An Austrian success story. Capsch recruited 230 people in 2011.
Because of the flexibility we have in Austria, we have no problem letting people go, so we can hire workers without any worries.
Except for pregnant women and workers over 50, an employee in Austria can be let go for any reason or none. And the Austrian workforce is highly mobile, meaning bosses are in a permanent recruitment drive. The proportion of foreign workers in the country is significant, 12% of the population.
This is Buccina, who's been with us for 2 years. Pedro Gonzalez has been here for 3 months. We find most workers stay in one place for 1 or 2 years.
Austria is currently enjoying full employment. The jobless rate is just 4.5%, well below the overall Eurozone rate of 11.6%. Other European countries are especially struggling with high youth unemployment. It's almost 25% in the Eurozone. But in Austria, less than 10% of under-25s are unemployed. The state invests 200 million euros a year in skills training for young people who can't find apprenticeships in private industry. 80 to 85% of trainees find jobs straight after completing their course.
And how are the markets looking, Matthew?
European markets all opening down this Wednesday morning, Claire. We can take a look at how things are looking there. Now, they're taking their lead from Asia a bit. Those markets all traded down as well in the Wednesday session. Now, that follows continued worries over this so-called fiscal cliff in the US, the tax rises and spending cuts that will come in if the deal isn't done. Some senators in the US saying that talks are stalling a bit on that.
And the US has given its latest view on the long-running currency dispute with China.
Yes, now the US has been saying for a long time that China keeps its currency too low. That helps Chinese exporters to the US, but hurts those American companies trying to export to China. And during the presidential campaign, you might remember Mitt Romney said he was going to call China a currency manipulator. Well, on Tuesday, the US gave its latest assessment of the situation. It's holding back from giving it that label, but it still says that it thinks the currency is too undervalued. Well, let's get some of the day's company news now. And big tobacco companies in the US have been ordered to run special advertisements. The ads will say that they deliberately deceived the US public about the danger and addictiveness of cigarettes. Tobacco companies have argued the ads are a violation of their free speech rights.
Apple has regained its #1 spot in the American smartphone market. In the last 3 months, it took almost half of all sales. That's slightly more than rival Android. The launch of the iPhone 5 helped double its market share. Bad news for the makers of the BlackBerry, though. Its share jumped to just 1.6%.
And Australia's Qantas is ending a 40-year relationship with the country's tourism authority. The airline says the boss of Tourism Australia is leading a group that's trying to unseat its management team. Well, the tourism authority is run by the former chairman of Qantas. He's reported to be unhappy with the direction the airline is taking. The split ends a marketing deal worth €40 million.
All right, Matthew, moving on to fighting talk from Argentina over a debt row.
Yes, now this is over the country being ordered by a US court to repay over $1 billion to certain holders of its bonds. Now, the bondholders concerned didn't accept a restructuring deal that happened after Argentina defaulted about 10 years ago. Well, Buenos Aires is resisting, and that's grounds for concern, according to one ratings agency.
Argentina could be heading for default. That's the opinion of the ratings agency Fitch, which has just downgraded the country by 5 notches. It foresees a repeat of 2001. Back then, Argentina was on the verge of bankruptcy when it defaulted on foreign debt of $100 billion. It was saved when most of its creditors wrote off part of the debt owed to them. The restructuring meant some took a 75% loss. But some refused to negotiate, and they're calling in the bill. A New York court has lifted a stay on payment to hedge funds that hold Argentine bonds and has ordered Argentina to repay more than $1 billion. Buenos Aires is refusing to hand over a cent to what it characterises as vulture funds.
The problems that are confronting the Republic of Argentina are due to judicial colonialism on the issue of sovereign debt. This is something that concerns not just South American countries, but all countries of the world, and especially those developed countries that are facing similar crises.
The dispute with the bondholders is long-running and has already been through several US courts. Argentina argues the judge who lifted the stay has no jurisdiction and has asked an appeals court to reimpose it.
Now, how much would you pay for a parking space in Hong Kong, Matthew? The cost is at record highs.
Yes, that's right. It's a good question. Prices there are rising so high that there are fears it's causing a bit of a bubble. Now, the city has about the same number of cars as parking spaces, but in key areas, that means the price is being bid up. At the weekend, one developer sold 500 slots in a new development for about 130,000 euros each. And that's not where the price rises end. So let's take a listen.
In some car parks, especially located in the urban areas where the supplies is unlimited, the sales price of some car parks can be as high as 2 to 3 million Hong Kong dollars.
He mentioned 3 million Hong Kong dollars. That's 300,000 euros to us. A lot of money.
Absolutely. Now, I've got another question for you. What would you do with $500 million?
Yes.
Someone in the US may face that question later on today.
Maybe they'd buy a lot of parking slots in Hong Kong and make some money off it. Well, this
I'm
is
not sure
because
that's what I would do.
I'm sure you wouldn't. Well, the Powerball lottery game could be about to pay out its biggest ever prize in the US, and it could go even higher than $500 million because around 60% of sales are made on the final day. Now, it's good news for the winner, but also for the states in the US because they take around just under half the cost of a ticket. Well, let's hear from some of those who are buying tickets on exactly how they would spend those winnings.
Oh, a lot of things. I'll be paying off my house. I'll be giving away to my charity, and then I give it to my family. There's a lot of things I can use in that.
I think it's just a thrill and excitement of having the possibility of even winning. It's a small amount of money to pay for the opportunity to get into the pool.
Now, sadly for us here, we are not allowed to buy tickets. You have to be a resident of the US. But maybe somebody might win and send you their prize money, Claire. You never know.
God,
That's
that'd be
allowed.
Wonderful. Please do, if you win. Thank you very much, Matthew. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to France 24.